Hi, this is Savannah,
And this is Brian from the Dorky Diva Show,
and you're listening to Starboars.
the best place for below average Star Wars.
Welcome to Starboars, the best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the best place for below average Star Wars. I'm the Geordie Jedi Pete, and we're back with another of our Knowing Me, Knowing You, aha, special episodes. These episodes are designed for myself and another Star Wars fan to ask each other 5 random Star Wars themed questions to get the Star Wars conversation flowing and bouncing all over the place, so that we're not dependent on talking about the news every week. This week, I'm joined by a very special guest. It is Maria from the Sistas With Sabers Podcast. Maria, how are you doing?
Hey man, how's it going? It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, obviously, first time being on the Star Wars Show, so welcome. Hopefully the first of a couple of times, because we're always happy to have fresh guests on all the time.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I listened to a few episodes just so I'd feel more prepared.
Good. And we're sort of happy with how we just sort of bounce around all over the place and talk about whatever Star Wars comes in our minds.
Yeah. Sisters is like that. My show's kind of all over the place, so I like that. I don't do real uniform stuff.
So you'll definitely fit in here with us. Yeah, do you want to, we'll just start off, do you want to tell the listeners where they can find the Sisters With Sabers podcast?
Yeah. So hi, it's me, Maria. If you aren't aware of what Sisters with Sabers is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It answers the question of, are there any black women that like Star Wars? The answer is yes, and we have our own show. And normally we will have a topic. We will have a support a sister, which is a segment where we promote a black owned brand or cause or something of the like. And then if there are any grievances or anything that the girls want to say, then we'll say that. But yeah, it's just a show to kind of give voice to that in fandom. It came to my attention that there really wasn't a show like that for us. That's for us by us. We're not a co-star. There's not just one of us. Like there's anywhere from 6 to 10 of us at any given time on a show, and that's amazing because I've gone my whole life at conventions and never seen another black woman, so that was pretty dope. Yeah.
Definitely. I've just listened to the episode about dead moms in Star Wars, which I found pretty hilarious and enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah, our Mother's Day special, man. Good times. Not a lot of living moms in Star Wars, but we tried to keep track of them.
So, Maria, do you have some questions ready to ask me?
Yeah, man, I do.
Fantastic. I've got questions to ask you. So, without further ado, it is knowing me, Peter, knowing you, Maria. Aha! So, Maria, my first question for you is, Star Wars is obviously some of the best storytelling ever. It's pure modern myth. In my opinion, pro wrestling is also the art of storytelling. I know you're a fan of WWE, and obviously you've had Sasha Banks sort of do a brilliant job in The Mandalorian. Which 5 wrestlers would you love to see come into Star Wars? And what type of roles do you think would suit those 5?
That's a good question. Oh my god, my questions are so crappy compared to that. What 5 wrestlers? I don't know, man. You know, hmm. I think Naomi is one of the female wrestlers, and she is just very talented. has wonderful stage presence. I don't know what she would do exactly, but it's always nice to see more Black women in Star Wars. So of course I'm gonna go Naomi. Um, I would also say maybe Nia Jax. She's a larger woman, and it's nice to see different body types in Star Wars. So I think she would make a really good bouncer at a cantina or a bounty hunter or something like that, or maybe even like a sheriff or something. Like I think that would be dope. Uh, on the man side of things, ugh, maybe Braun Strowman. He has a really interesting look. He's like a bald, bearded guy with a lot of muscles. Um, and it's easy to sort of put body paint on that and put him in like a Zabrak outfit or something like that. So I don't know if I have five, but those are the ones that are coming to mind right now. You know who else? Because he's got this real flair for theatricality is Finn Balor. Finn Balor might be a good pick, just based around his character in WWE and the way he presents himself. He's very theatrical. I think that would fit in really nice with the world of Star Wars. Hmm.
Yeah, I could imagine Finn Balor being sort of a really cool Sith apprentice. I think that would be really cool
Right?
for him.
He's got a lot of Darth Maul energy. He does.
He certainly does. I've watched Finn wrestle a couple of times, and he's absolutely fantastic. As for Braun Strowman, I could imagine him being like, do you know that scene in Mandalorian where we see the two Gamorreans fighting each other?
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine him being like a giant fighter in these sort of underground fights that happen throughout the Star Wars galaxy. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I could see him in the ring, no problem, taking those guys.
I want to know what you think about this. So I've got a really, really not so hot take. I don't know if you're familiar with. I don't know if you're familiar with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I could imagine him being a really good Thrawn.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I'm the only
I
person who thinks
liked him
that.
as Stardust, so I could go with it. I have zero attachment to Thrawn. Like I'm not one of those people. So I don't, I see him and he looks nice and it's a nice outfit. But I don't really have any connection to that character. So hey, it sounds to me just as good as Pierce Brosnan or whoever they're putting in the role today.
So if you don't like Thrawn, who is your favourite sort of Imperial officer?
Uh, I'm on the good guy side, so I really don't have Domhnall Gleeson is hot. So Hux is always on the top of the list, just because he's just so friggin' hot. And probably Ray Sloan is behind him because hey, who doesn't love Ray Sloan and another sister in the galaxy? So I guess those would be my two.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you brought Ray Sloan up. I think since sort of the new canon started in 2015, I think she's probably one of my favourite characters that I've read about. So I'm really hoping we do get to see a live action Ray Sloan soon.
It's time. I think it's time.
It is, and I don't really care who gets the role as long as they pick the right person for the role. But I think that would be whatever series has Ray Sloan will be a fantastic series.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room in Andor for something like that, because we're kind of moving away from the major players into this underground espionage game, and I think it would be a really nice fit for her in that timeline. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Ray would be a sort of a young officer during Andor. Is that correct?
Right. During the Andor timeline, she would be a young officer trying to prove herself, and what better way to do that than to try to bring in the head of Cassian Andor?
Oh, I'm loving that already. That's like, oh, I hope we get that now. Now you brought that up, that's fantastic. Andor's actually shooting in the UK right now.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so it's a bit further from where I live. It's a bit down south. I live in the north of England, but yeah, I've seen some of the pictures and seen them filming on location in the UK. Has made us really excited about the show that's coming.
Nice.
Do you think someone like the Undertaker could maybe be like a really powerful Sith ghost or something like that?
Again, another wrestler that uses theatricality. I'm not opposed to it. I just wonder at his age if he's able to keep up with some of the stance, and I think if it's quick enough, it could be done. But uh, I guess.
What is your first question for me, Maria?
My first question for you is, where is Corky and why is he not dead?
Um, I don't know why I didn't see this one coming. I'm trying to remember where we last seen him in the Clone Wars. Was he on Onderon as well? Have I got the wrong character? Is that the other guy?
I don't think he ever made it to Onderon. I think that's Lux Von Terry who
Right,
makes it to
right, right.
Onderon. But
That's right.
Corky is supposedly Satine's nephew, but we never find out who his mother or father are. And I believe him to be the Kenobi son.
Yeah, I always get these two guys mixed up. So he's in the Mandalorian arc, isn't he? Where he helps them undercover the pirates who are helping the Death Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he now? I think it would be really, really cool if it was a case of maybe he was Satine's son, and obviously if they've just from birth they've made him sort of her nephew just to cover that up, so no one will come after him to hide his parentage. And obviously that does ask the question of who the father is, which, if Satine is his mother, it would only leave Obi-Wan Kenobi to be the father, which would be pretty cool. It sort of, the awesome thing about that is that it shows sort of a deeper meaning to Kenobi when he understands what Anakin's going through, and if Anakin just opened up to Obi-Wan about his love for Padme and about the pregnancy that's coming and all the things that actually help Anakin turn to the dark side, if he was open with Obi-Wan about those things, Obi-Wan could help him a lot, because if Corky is Obi-Wan's son, Obi-Wan knows about these things. You can guide him better, but the trust's just not there, which I suppose makes it even more tragic, I suppose, the story. As to what he would be doing now, well, you've got to think if he's the son of Obi-Wan, he's definitely got the Force. And then if he's had children since then there could be a lot of Force users running around the galaxy that we don't know about, and we could have adventures with those guys in future stories, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
I probably would have preferred this to like Rey being the daughter of Corky rather than Rey being the daughter or granddaughter of Palpatine. I probably would have preferred that one, to be honest with you, than what we got. But it is what it is. But yeah. But I think if Corky is alive and if he is sort of linked to Obi-Wan Kenobi, I don't think he would be a Jedi. I think he would be like, I can see him being a type of like hero for hire, like a mercenary, but a good one who like uses the Force, but also has a blaster by his side, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm going with. What's in your head canon about Corky?
Well, that's a good answer. Our whole friendship is hinging on that answer. No, I don't believe he's dead. I don't believe it. I know everybody thinks he's dead. I don't think he's dead. I do think he's Obi-Wan's son. I do think that his lineage has been hidden on purpose. He's the only child in the school that has a security detail around him, and you don't need that if the child is simply the nephew of a nobody. You really don't need that. What do I think Corky's doing today? I don't believe he ever wanted to be a noble. I don't believe he wanted to rule Mandalore. I picture him as almost like a Batman of Mandalore, like kind of like you were saying, like someone who tries to set the wrongs right in Mandalore. Like he stays because he loves his origin country, and he met Ahsoka, and Ahsoka taught him the value of holding people accountable for the wrongs that they've done. So I would assume that that would make a pretty big impact on a young person in those developmental years, especially knowing that they were able to crack that case about the children's lunches and what happened to them. And it seemed like at the end of that arc that Ahsoka had really inspired something in him to look for ways to right wrongs outside of his own luxurious hemisphere, because as the nephew of the queen, he is privileged to certain, you know, living standards that most kids don't have. So I kind of envision him as the Batman of Mandalore.
I love that. I'd buy that right now if that was available to watch. So do you think you would have like Mandalorian armor, but it would be like, would it be black or would it be like what color would you go for if he was wearing the armor?
I don't know. I think blue. Mandalore, tends to favor that blue color.
Yeah.
So I think he would want to stick with, something a little bit more traditional to Mandalorian lore, blue and silver, something like that.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
My next question for you is, what upcoming Star Wars project that's in development right now are you most excited about and why?
So I'm interested in the Ahsoka stuff. I want to see if they're able to save that. I wasn't one of the people that was really excited about seeing her in I won't say that. I wasn't ecstatic with what I got. I was excited to see her. But I just think what we got wasn't it wasn't what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a little bit more. So maybe the show will be better. Cassian's gonna be great. I'm excited for more Diego Luna. Anytime we get more diversity in Star Wars, it's always a good thing. I think the Lando series is gonna be dope. And also the Star Wars anime thing. There's some kind of, what is it called? Star Wars
Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, that's the one. It'll be interesting and exciting to see Star Wars from a non-American point of view. How do they envision that story? What does it look like? What does it sound like? So I'm excited for that. I think those are the projects I'm most excited for, and maybe the droids too. I like to hear the 3PO and R2 stuff. That's always good, and they get another job. I think this is a really good opportunity to fix some of the things that should have happened in The Rise of Skywalker. Maybe 3PO can have a flashback to the prequel days. I think that stuff is always fun when you get to play with the timeline a little bit and everything's not so serious.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is that there's a lot of different projects out there, so we're sort of going in a lot of different directions, which I think is fantastic. And it means sort of hopefully not going to get the same thing again. It's going to be, each of these new projects, like some are going to be very serious in tone, some are going to be funny in tone, some are going to explore what ifs and things like that. I think it's just a really exciting time where, you might not necessarily like all of Star Wars, but there's a lot coming, and there's definitely something there for everyone, which is going to be great. I think for me, Andor I'm really excited for, and I'm also excited for this Acolyte series, which I'm not sure if it's going to be live action or not, but it's sort of going to delve into the not the origins, but it's going to delve into sort of the past of the Sith, maybe in Dark Force, and it's going to be set in a similar timeline to the High Republic, apparently.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. It almost screams Night Sister to me, so I'm excited.
Definitely. What's your next question for me?
My next question for you is, do you really believe that Palpatine only had clones?
How do you mean? Do you mean that he didn't actually...
I'm indicating that those aren't clones. that his son is actually his physical son. I think
I mean,
it's a misdirect on purpose.
I think if you look at the way Shivi Boy operates in the prequels, he's definitely got sort of, although he's very sinister, he's also got a very sort of a cheeky side. So I can definitely imagine him having some affairs with people, shall we say, maybe secret affairs, while he is while he's senator and probably while he's chancellor as well. So I think the chances of him having children is high. My question would be like, does he know about them, or have the mother sort of run away with the baby type of thing, with him not knowing about it?
I would. If I was the mother, I would definitely
Yeah.
run away for sure. Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, and it's really interesting that the comics and whatever are just so quick to say no clones. It's only clones. It's only clones, because no old person in political office has ever had a sexual scandalous affair. That never happens. They never abuse their power in that way.
Yeah, because it's quite like, when they first in the Rise of Skywalker, I was watching it, and the first bring about sort of Rey's, you see the flashback of Rey's mum and dad. It's a bit like that could totally be his son, not a clone of him.
Mhm.
And it's like, if Rey is the offspring of a clone of Palpatine, then he's not really a grandfather, is he? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, it's weird. So yeah, I think maybe there's just a lot of holes in that. I think the decision to go with that, maybe they didn't realize how many holes it actually had. And that's,
So many.
I think now, yeah,
So many.
now they are starting to sort of fill it in. Obviously, I know in the recent Star Wars comic, it's got like Luke Skywalker's hand in a jar. But it's like, if they've used that to make the clones, then is she not the child of both Luke and Palpatine then, if it's like a mixed clone? I
Oh
don't know.
boy.
Yeah, so like, imagine
That's
like,
one ugly clone.
yeah, and then like that's who your two dads are.
Good lord.
Yeah. But no, I think Palpatine definitely could have been hitting up some people's inboxes, sliding in the DMs with some of our senators. I think definitely when he was a senator. But yeah, I think as you've said, I think he definitely has been hitting some people. And also I think they've definitely run a mile once maybe they've got pregnant.
Yep, just get out of town. Anywhere but
My
Coruscant.
next question for you, Maria, is if you were creating an all-female crime-fighting team using only Star Wars characters, who would you choose and why? Who would be Maria's angels?
Oh boy. All right. Ahsoka. There's no explanation needed for sure. We need her. The daughter, which is kind of a cheat because I believe they're almost the same spirit. But you got to have somebody that's otherworldly to fight the spiritual realm. Asajj Ventress, because she answers to no one and she does whatever she wants to do. And even when she was like a bounty hunter, like she did the right thing, but she got there on her own terms. Yaddle, you just gotta have Yaddle because she's bad. Like you just gotta have her because she's just the sexy one. You just gotta have the sexy one. I guess. Do we need Bo-Katan? She's a great shot. I guess we need Bo-Katan. Okay, fine. We'll do that. Fine. Who else? I don't know if I want to go Stila Guerrera or if I want to go Hera. They're both good leaders. I want a leader in there. I guess I'm going Hera because I also get the pilot advantage. So I'm going Hera. For sure. Leia's too big of a name. She's got stuff to do. She doesn't have time for my BS. And let's go with an obscure Jedi. Not the Blabba. No. Maybe Shakti.
Maybe Barris with a bit of an edge.
Okay, fine. I'll allow it. Barris. Let's go for it. I've still got beef with her. I'm still not over it. Like, she set my girl up. I will never not be mad. Like, you were supposed to, like, be Ahsoka's friend. Ugh, that bitch. All right, I'm done. Yeah, that's my, I'm locking it in.
What do you think happened to Barris after Order 66?
Don't care. I'm still mad. Like, I don't care what happened to her. Honestly, I feel like she screwed over the Jedi and then found out that Palpatine wasn't a great option either, and then he probably executed her because he was done with her.
Probably. A tragic end. What's your next question for me, Maria?
Val dies within the first 20 minutes of the Solo movie. In order to get justice for her death, who would you substitute as her final kiss to make it better than Yuckmouth Woody Harrelson?
Does it have to be someone from the movie? Or can it be anybody?
Anyone. Anyone's better than Woody Harrelson. Pick one.
I mean, we're not going to go Chewbacca because that would just be too much hair in the mouth. And we're not going to go with Han because Han's got eyes for one person at this point, and that is Kira. We're not going to go with Dryden Voss just because if those slits on his face open up while they're kissing, that could be like very weird and traumatic. We could go with, is it Rio who's like the pilot for them?
Yeah, the monkey guy.
Could go with him because he's got lots of different. He's got more than one pair of hands, hasn't he? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So he could be, giving her a little smooch. He could be feeling her in many different places. It could be a very good kissing experience. It could be a very good experience for her before she sadly passes away.
All right.
Yeah, that's I'm locking Rio in just because that would be the most, like the best option I think out of who's available.
It's better than Woody Harrelson. It's still better than what we got.
Yeah,
still better. I'll never not be mad that she died. That's just ugh.
But if I was going to pick just the most handsome person in Star Wars, I'd probably just pick Anakin Skywalker because that's what face of Hayden Christensen is just on fire.
I know, right? You're not telling me anything I don't know. Yeah, that's an issue. That's an issue, isn't it? It's a real big problem. Yeah. All right. We're gonna keep this clean. I didn't.
Yes, we're gonna try our best too. Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going.
We'll just say that Anakin was already hot before he burned.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
My next one for you is: do you have a favorite piece of Star Wars merchandise? And if it is, what is it? And is there also an item that you don't own that you really want? So it's like a holy grail item that you really want that you don't have.
So merchandise. We got everything. We got plates, we got cups, we got straws, we got commemorative lanyards, Funko Pops for days, you name it. We have it. Lunch boxes, the whole thing. Throw pillows. I don't know if I have I have the Ahsoka ring and the bracelet that Rock Love did. That I really like the jewelry that they did. I don't wear it all the time, but when I do wear it, it makes me feel very good. So I enjoy that stuff. I've also got a number of Star Wars tattoos, and I'm very proud of them.
Which
I'm
tattoos do
working
you have?
on all of them. I've got a lightsaber on my left hip. I've got um, Darth Vader burning in a funeral pyre on my right shoulder, and my left arm is like a mashup of like the women of Star Wars. So Ahsoka, Asajj, Mother Talzin, Sabine, um, Luminara. I gotta put a Hera down in there too somewhere. But yeah, so I don't know. We've got so much now. We just got so freaking much. At Christmas time, the ornaments, we've got all a crap ton of Star Wars ornaments. Those are all really cool. But yeah, there's just we have that Death Star tree topper. That's pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. Like if you turn it on and see it in action doing its thing, it's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Do I have something I'm looking for right now? Honestly, like we need to slow down. There's so much crap in here. I don't know how much more we can take. And I'd like to have Ahsoka's lightsabers or one of the busts. I think Gentle Giant did a few um different bites of the apple of Ahsoka on a bust, and so did Sideshow, and they're beautiful. But I'm afraid that my daughter Ahsoka will want Ahsoka and then break it. So I haven't pulled the trigger on that. Maybe one day, when she's a little bit older and understands that some of the stuff in the house is just for looking at.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only thing I'm really like missing is maybe a bust of Ahsoka or that Finn. There's a really nice episode 7 Finn out there I saw. Both of those are dope.
Is that Finn in the Stormtrooper armor?
No, it's him in the desert with the pose jacket on.
I'll have to have a look. I've got
It's beautiful. It looks just like him. I was like, Jesus.
My
It's
holy
really
grail
good.
item that I really want is I want an original Revenge of the Jedi poster. So I think when Return of the Jedi before it came out, its like working title was Revenge of the Jedi before it got changed, and like a few posters went out to advertise it with the wrong title. And you can get reprints pretty. I think on like shops sell reprints of it, but I really want to find an original one day. I think they go for like a lot of money, which I can't afford right now. But my goal is one day in my life I'll be able to A, find one, and B, afford it. Is there a Star Wars tattoo that you want to get that don't have yet?
A Star Wars toy?
Star Wars tattoo?
Oh, a tattoo.
Yeah, sorry.
I want to finish my sleeve, man. No worries. I really want to finish my sleeve. It's hard finding time and getting down there. And there's only one guy that I trust to do my arm. So and he's also pretty hard to find. So just to make things doubly hard, I think I'm gonna try to track him down on my birthday and see what I can come up with. I'm just kind of working through the timeline. So I started with Clone Wars and Rebels, and I did a Handmaiden last year. So it's time for episode 2, and I pick a female character from every um movie. So I'll probably go with Zam Wessel just because like the texture on her face would look really good as a tattoo, like the lines and stuff. So I think that'd be pretty dope. So I think that'll be my next one. And then episode 3, there's not many other female characters. I might have to do a Padme. It's just I don't know how that's going to look on my skin. We'll come up with something.
You'll have to obviously put pictures up once you get your new ones on so we can see how awesome they look. you said you had a funeral, a Darth Vader funeral pyre on your shoulder.
Yeah,
Is that
man.
right? That's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. I think is Luke like giving his father a burial type of thing. I think it hits so much in the feels big time emotionally. So I think that's probably my favorite of the ones you've said. Like that's the one that I think that's such a powerful tattoo to have.
Yeah, it's really like about my redemption, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't always a great person, but I believe that Star Wars teaches us that anyone can come back, and make the right choice.
100%. I think that's one of my favorite things about Star Wars as well. Is that you have that choice. So no matter what you've done in the past, your next decision you can make it however you want. So you can choose to be better. So like, don't let what you've done in the past sort of haunt you so much, and don't let it dictate what you can do, because going forward you can make those changes and you can be better. I think that's probably one of the most powerful pieces of Star Wars storytelling that I take. I think it's just such a powerful piece of imagery and messaging coming out of like sort of George's story. Do you have a question for me?
I do. I just sent you some of the tattoo work there for you to enjoy.
Thank you very
in
much.
our little chat. Where is my question? Hang tight. Is Mace Windu still alive, and what is he doing now?
I really hope Mace Windu is dead. And the reason why that is because if Mace Windu is still alive, he sort of hasn't helped the rebellion at all, hasn't helped the resistance at all. So if he is still alive, then he's probably a bad man. And like, it's strange on Mace Windu. So when the prequels came out, like I loved Mace Windu. I was like Samuel Jackson. Like I was a teenager when they came out, so obviously like I was watching like the Tarantino movies with him in and stuff like that. Obviously he's like such a cool guy. He swears a lot in movies, and obviously as a teenager, like you gravitate towards that because it's fun, it's cool, sort of new. And then when he was a Jedi Master, it was like, oh wow. And then obviously in Attack of the Clones, you get to see him turn on the lightsaber. So sort of I love Mace Windu. I remember hunting down a figure. I really wanted a Mace Windu figure, and I couldn't find one. And it wasn't until I was in Disneyland Paris on holiday that I found one there and finally got a Mace Windu figure. But with the sort of recent season of the Clone Wars and how he is towards Ahsoka, I started to sour on him a little bit.
Yeah, the citizen, man, the citizen.
I was just like, oh, Mace, no. Like, and then
the sin of the citizen.
And you think about how he treats Anakin, and like if he treats him a bit better, do we get that scene happening the way it does in Revenge of the Sith? So I've soured on him a little bit. So I would like to think he's still dead, because if he is alive, like I said, he hasn't helped anyone. If he is alive, he's just hiding. So he's definitely not a good man anymore. If he is alive, what's your thoughts? Think he's alive?
I think it's an interesting question. I know George says he is alive. I don't really care for Mace Windu, so I'm of the mindset that he is either dead or he learned from his mistakes and decided to stay the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it, but I really don't care for the character, and citizen is the ultimate sin. It did not help his case at all. So I was on the fence about him first, and then he said citizen, and I said, you know what, screw you.
Yeah,
we're done here.
Definitely. My question for you is, do you have a favorite Star Wars memory or moment? So it could be like being at a fan event, meeting someone from Star Wars. It could just be an experience you had watching it.
I don't see that's so hard though. There's so many moments. I met Ashley at Celebration. That was dope. I met Hayden and passed out and had an out of body experience. Um, there's just so many things, and then there's the actual experience of like watching Star Wars. Like Twilight of the Apprentice might be my most favorite piece of Star Wars storytelling ever. Like that's how sometimes you see somebody singing a song and they're singing it with all their freaking heart, and you know that that is their song. I don't know what it means to them, but I know it means something. And I feel that way about Twilight of the Apprentice. Like that's my song. Like that's it. Um and it means something to me. Like it means so much to me. Yeah. So I have a lot of feelings about that episode in particular. I fancy myself an Ahsoka in my dreams.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm
I think
sorry.
Twilight of the Apprentice is. I remember watching that sort of the finale to Rebel season 2, and just being sort of just floored by it, by just how good it was, how deep it was, how much it made you feel, the amount of story that was in it. It was almost like simple storytelling, but perfect storytelling. Like almost if it was a dream, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was actually, so I watched Rebels first, and then I went back and watched Clone Wars, just because of
Oh.
how much I loved, in particular, season 2 of Rebels made us think, oh wow, I better go and give this Clone Wars a shot. And I went back and
Mm-hmm.
watched Clone Wars afterwards.
Wow, aren't you
Yeah,
lucky?
yeah. So yeah, definitely fantastic. So what was it like meeting Hayden? Did you manage to touch him?
I sniffed him. He's something. Like I said, I don't even know. Like I had an out of body experience. I don't even know what happened.
Was that at Celebration Chicago,
That was Orlando.
Orlando?
Yeah, I wanted to go to Chicago, but we couldn't work the finances out. And honestly, at that point, like Ahsoka was still breastfeeding, so it wasn't safe for me to travel.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to go.
But Anaheim this year, you're going to be there, or next year
Yeah,
even? Sorry.
man. Yeah, next year I'll see you guys at Anaheim. Celebration is a one of a kind experience too for a Star Wars fan. It's really like the family reunion of Star Wars. So I'm excited for that too. It's just I couldn't figure out how to get a 6-month-old infant on a plane. Here, hold my baby, so I can flash Hayden Christensen real quick. There's just
Yeah.
there was no way to make that work.
Yeah. Did you meet Ashley at Celebration Orlando as well?
I did.
How was that? Was
Wonderful
that?
woman.
Yeah.
Oh man. I felt like such a dork because I'm just like, I can't breathe and I'm crying. And, she's just like, okay. Like, it's difficult to express to someone that you admire so much just how much they mean to you and how much the story that they're telling means to you in your life personally. Um, yeah, it was a real treat to meet her. And that's how you hope your Star Wars actors are. You hope that they get it or they're at least excited about the project. You know what I mean? Um, so it was nice to meet her, and I didn't feel any additional judgment from her. It was all on my own end. She was very supportive and kind. Mm-hmm.
I bumped into Dave Filoni at Celebration in London, so I think it was 2016, I think.
Ah.
And obviously, it was quite cool because a lot of people at the Celebration London event sort of weren't in the bubble, so he was wandering around like on his own type of thing, which he definitely couldn't do with an American one. And a few people recognised him, but I got to like grab a picture with him, got to have a conversation with him just on the
Oh,
on the convention floor, which was like fantastic, and like he was just so nice. And
that's brilliant.
yeah, so like, definitely Celebration. It's great to meet like everyone who you interact with online and the friends you make sort of in the lines for things, and then you go to the next celebration and they're there again, you get to meet them again. That's lovely. And then also you get the opportunity to maybe mingle with, like I said, some of the actors, some of the story creators, which again, it's absolutely fantastic. I think anybody listening who hasn't been to a celebration, try and get to one in your lifetime, because honestly, it's probably, I don't know, I honestly think it's probably one of the greatest times of my life when I'm there. It's like, I don't know,
Agree.
it's better than any drug. It's like, it's just the feelings it produces is like, you can't replicate it anywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of serotonin going on for sure. And then there's the after parties, right? Like after the convention, there's a whole nother side that pops up, and people start doing after parties and the meetups in the hotels and in the hotel lobby and in the pool and whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just a big party, and it's amazing.
Are you a big fan of her universe? Obviously, you've been a big fan of Ashley and Ahsoka.
Yeah, half of my closet is her universe. I'm really asking, I've been pushing for a lingerie line. Like, women are more than just one thing. We're not a monolith. We can be many, many things all at the same time. So I really want to see like a lingerie set inspired by Ahsoka or a Night Sister, or just the colors. You know, I just think that would be so dope. So I threw my hat out there as a model for free, just because I think it would be a dope time, and potentially hanging out with Ashley again. That'd be dope. But yeah, I think that would be fun. It's a fun mix of like nerdy and the Fenty type of deal, and I think that would be really cool. There's probably more women than we think in the community that would be interested in that.
Yeah, I think you know, her universe, obviously they cater a lot of sort of, you know, I would say the stuff they're designing. Yes, it's for adults, but it's also for like for kids and younger people as well. But they've got that adult customer base, so like why not develop that product, and people will definitely eat it up and buy it. I think what you should do is, if they don't do it, then maybe just start your own company and do it yourself.
The problem is, like, I don't have the vision for that. Like, I think it would be a dope idea. It's the same thing as like when I met Ashley, I said, "You know what we should do? Like, you should do palettes. Like, you should do makeup inspired by the characters. You know, Ahsoka, it's blues, it's white, it's orange, you know, different eyeshadow colors. You know, I'm the idea person. I'm not so great with the execution as evidenced by the show, but I have a lot of fun ideas."
Yeah, fantastic. Have you got any more questions for me?
Which Star Wars character do you think would be most likely to win Money in the Bank, and why?
Ooh, that is a really, really good one. I mean,
Well, I know you're a wrestling guy.
yeah. So those Mandalorians definitely have an edge with the jetpacks. They could like fly up and get it without using the ladder. But let's just say the jetpacks are banned. Um, Again, like someone like Rio, where he's like he's like a monkey type alien, where he's got more than two sets of limbs. He could be climbing up super quick using his extra hands. He has one for you. If a Force user was in the match and they used the Force to bring the Money in the Bank briefcase down to them, would that count as a win?
Absolutely not. I would not consider that person a winner.
Okay. No Force users then. Chewbacca's pretty tall, so he would need to go up less ladders, like less rungs of the ladder to reach it. And he's also pretty strong, so he can knock people off the ladder as well. So Chewbacca could have a good chance. Actually, do you know
I
who I
agree
think
with
would?
that.
Do you know who I think would win?
Who?
I think this person would win because there'd be utter carnage going on. All the big, strong characters would be destroying each other, trying to climb up and knocking each other down. And I think once all the big guys are down, you would have someone like Salacious Crumb would just climb up the ladder and grab the briefcase and like laugh like a little heel, be like the Miz.
I was thinking that. I was also thinking maybe Jar Jar for the win.
Finally,
Like do
it's his
something
moment.
crazy and just slip on some popcorn or something. Not even in the match. Not even in the match, and somehow win it.
I would be up for Jar Jar winning. I would totally be up for that. Definitely. Which Star Wars character do you think would make the best wrestler?
You know, I feel like Saw Gerrera in his younger days because he's
Oh,
got
yes.
the fire.
He's got the fire. He's got the look. Yeah,
The
definitely.
intensity. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
going Saw Gerrera on this one.
I would agree. I would agree with that. My last one for you is, if you had a choice between never ever watching a Star Wars again, and if you do that, you get to meet Eminem.
You're trying to kill me, man. You're trying to kill me.
Yeah. So if you give up Star Wars forever, I'll get you on a date with a real Slim Shady.
Oh my god. Oh man. That's something, man. Oh man, that's a Sophie's choice. If I ever heard of one. Never watch a Star War again. I could still listen to the podcast and just catch the breakdowns that way. And I'll just have to live vicariously through Steel. Hey, you guys. Yeah. Man, that's a hard one. I guess, I guess I'm just, there's something about that guy. I really, really want to see him in like Solo 2 as a smuggler or something. Really, really would love to see that. As much as he references Star Wars, like he will throw a line in there. Ah, my god, and it just drives me crazy. Ah,
I could totally see him as a sort of a smuggler in like a black flight suit in sort of a dark corner of a cantina. I could definitely see him in sort of the underworld of Star Wars.
yeah, I think it really lends itself to it. I don't see him as like a main character, but as a side character would be dope.
Yeah, a bit like sort of you see him and you're like, what's he up to? But you never get shown what he's actually up to. But he's lurking there, looking very mischievous, very sort of what's the word? I don't know if you've seen Lord of the Rings, but almost like, you know, when they first meet Aragorn in the bar and he's like lurking under a hood, it's like that sort of similar feel. You'd be there in the corner and you'd be like, something's happening here, but we don't know what.
Can I be honest with you? I've never seen a Lord of the Rings. I don't know what it is, but I hear it's awesome.
It's very much like sort of, well, it's like fantasy, so it's sort of similar to Star Wars in like lore, obviously, but it's set like in like Middle England almost type of thing with like creatures.
Cool.
Might be worth checking out. Might be worth checking out.
I might have to do that.
But you have to be careful because there's like the original cuts, and then on the DVD they released the extended cuts, which are,
oh wow.
So the films are going to be long anyway, and then the extended cuts are even longer. But the extended cuts are like fantastic.
Oh wow. Well, I got to do that then, man. So, I've never even gotten into it, but I should check it out then. It sounds like I got another positive recommendation.
Definitely worth checking out. Yeah, I think that brings. I've run out of questions for you after that last question from hell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm out of questions, buddy. I got nothing.
Fantastic. Well, again, just thank you very much, Maria, for coming on for a Know Me Knowing You special with the Star Wars team.
Yeah, it's been a dope time. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Where can the people find you on social media?
Twitter and Instagram at Blurred Girl Jedi. You can also check out the podcast at Sabers With The podcast is Sistas With Sabers, and you can check us out there and on our TikTok and YouTube, Sistas With Sabers.
We've got a TikTok. We've got a TikTok now as well. The Star Wars team have a TikTok.
Oh, you do? That's dope.
We don't know what we're doing with it. It's mainly just me looking at vintage Star Wars figures that arrive in the post.
That's about where ours is at too right now. There's other people in charge of that who are way better at it than me. So I let those fine people do their thing because that is so not my arena. So not my arena at all.
That's what I need. I need somebody to come and just run the TikTok for me because I'm definitely not down with the kids. It's not awesome. Let's just say that.
Yeah, the kids are with it. They're with the TikTok.
Definitely. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Before we go, I've got one last question to throw at you. Obviously, I think you've been watching The Bad Batch.
I have.
What's your hot Omega take?
Honestly, I don't have one. I am not the person to ask about Omega right now.
I wonder if Omega's like a Force clone, a Force sensitive clone. That's what I think maybe.
Yeah. Well, with what we know about Baby Yoda, like it seems like they're trying to manipulate the Force. They're trying to genetically engineer it some type of way. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to find out she's a Force user, or they've done something to try to manipulate the Force in her. So
Yeah.
whatever it is what it is. I'm okay with it. The character is growing on me. I'm more excited about the Clone Wars threads, like seeing some of the familiar faces come back and seeing those storylines kind of packed up and put in a nice little neat package. I'm sure we'll cover it on the Katana cast as well. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to let people know about the Katana cast?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just assume everybody knows. The Katana cast is what happens when the sisters aren't around to save me from myself. So the Katana cast is another podcast that I do with Era and Ben, and it is completely crazy and a great time. And it is adult-oriented content. So it's at the Katana cast on Twitter, and it's a good time.
Awesome. Well, again, Maria, it's been a blast chatting with you for this special. May the Force be with you. Listeners.
And also with you.
Thank you very much. Listeners, may the Force be with you. And remember, always tell that to Kanja Club. Please follow us on Twitter at BoresStar. That's at BoresStar. And on Instagram and Facebook at Star Wars Podcast. You can also reach us on email at starwarspodcast@gmail.com. Star Wars Show can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be found. Please give us a like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review. May the Force be with you.